Hey, welcome back, guys. Power Book 2's 9th installment was unquestionably this season's most thrilling, keeping us all on the edge of our sofas and chairs, heading into what's sure to be a rewarding finish. All previous secrets are just about exposed, and some new ones will threaten the bonds forged between our characters for next week's finale and beyond. I'm here to break it all down in typical Top 10 WTF fashion. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things Power. Here we go. WTF moment number 10, the ghosts of Tariq's past. The episode kicks off with another seemingly normal class session, depicting Tariq entering an empty room sans Councilman Tate's questionnaire. Is there any such thing as a fair fight? Upon calling out to his professor and secret ally, the politician transforms into Jabari Reynolds, Tariq's former professor turned slain one following the events of Season 1. He's not the only apparition that confronts Tariq. Kanan, Ray Ray, Proctor, Raina, and the newly departed Carrie Milgram joins in on the fun as well. If that's not enough, Lauren makes a surprise appearance towards the end of the dream sequence, and his father dials in right when the dream cuts to reality. Imagine how crazy it would have been if Ghost appeared among the myriad of scorned souls questioning Tariq's actions against them. The timeline would have been an absolute shambles if the legendary one made a posthumous appearance amongst the fray. But to date, still no Ghost visions. This only serves as fuel for more of those tireless Ghost is still alive theories. And I'll be pouring more gasoline onto that fire too, with my hypocritical ass. WTF moment number 9, deadly promotion. Kane wraps his business at Mecca's compound and attempts to depart. However, the brooding kingpin informs his understudy that he won't be going anywhere, as his presence is needed on an all-day basis. Kane initially bucks his mentor, but a no-nonsense Mecca loses all composure, choking his underling out and forcing him to place his hand where a butcher's blade was sure to follow. Instead of Kane receiving what Jafar once referred to as, quote, an eternal reward, the unhinged drug lord instead forces Kane to duplicate his fingerprint via phone, giving him all access to Mecca's estate and Mecca all access to Kane's whereabouts. Mecca then deems Kane his new number 2, a dangerous position for the once believed to be eldest Tejada. WTF moment number 8, take the stand. Tate is called by Jenny Sullivan and the prosecution to take the stand in Tariq's double murder case, hoping to rehabilitate the image of Carrie Milgram following McLean's eviscerating display against her prior to her death. Tate threatens to blow Tariq up in court unless he finally makes good on his fleeting promises to sabotage Sweeney, which he eventually capitulates to. Tate's testimony starts off simple enough, with the councilman buttressing the slain professor's reputation in the affirmative. He also denies having any relevant information against Tariq. However, once cross-examined by McLean regarding additional witnesses in the case, Tate mentions the clandestine witness exposed to him in private during his brotherly conversation with Kamal. The sucker move jeopardizes his brother's professional integrity, but could potentially absolve Tariq of any wrongdoing by way of the Brady rule, a violation that occurs when the prosecution withholds critical information from the defense and could result in a mistrial. WTF moment number 7, a snitch and a desperate cokehead. Following Jenny Sullivan's mandate by the court to retrieve the necessary evidence against Tariq in 48 hours' time, the beleaguered prosecutor pays the Westons a visit. While at the prestigious residence, she plays the tape of Brayden conversing with Lauren and Lorenzo, who we all know as Kane. Brayden denies any knowledge of Kane. However, his brother Trace foolishly spills all information against Kane and Tariq by extension, including that impromptu kidnapping fiasco back in 106, where Kane forced the two Westons to hustle in the hood. After further rebuttals by Brayden, Jenny hits him with the dashcam photos from Ramirez's squad car, leaving Brayden with 2 options: testify against Tariq or become an accomplice to Ramirez's murder. The family asks for Trace to testify on the grounds that both Westons get complete immunity from the crime. WTF moment number 6, Dirty Diana. Diana pulls up on Tariq in the spirit of sadness and professes her self-deprecating sentiments regarding her family and position therein. She then exposes Monet's true parentage of Zeke, including Dante's as well, and brings home the story with some well-placed tears, a man's kryptonite, as the ladies in this service know all too well. Then, after requesting some H2O, Diana drops the sentimental act and gets to the true reason she showed up. Behind Tariq's back, she breaks into his phone and gains access to the code concealing his stash, a code that would be vital to getting the stolen drugs back to her father and regaining his trust, although the latter would prove to still be in vain given Lorenzo's gaze towards his daughter on his way back to business. WTF moment number 5. Forget about Sacramento. Zeke takes part in a press conference to declare his immediate intent to leave Stansfield and the negative influences surrounding it, i.e. his family, whom he admonishes by name. Then, just as Zeke makes his future plans clear, a barrage of headlines begin to hit the press, accusing Zeke of misrepresenting his true age. His agent, in an attempt to salvage his client's credibility, promptly halts the press coverage and tells Zeke that Sacramento is all but a memory if the headlines prove to be true. WTF moment number 4. Run, Lauren, run. Lauren catches up with Tariq and attempts to explain her actions against him while simultaneously consoling him. She further exposes the extent of her involvement in the case, including her recording of both Brayden and Kane on that wire. An overwhelmingly startled Tariq emphatically urges his former boot thing to run far, far away and never return, stressing the levels to which she tweaked, unbeknownst to her. She gives him a look that could only kill before departing towards an unknown future filled with gloom. WTF moment number 3. Shootout in the park. Mecca attempts to comfort his family in light of Zeke's latest PR catastrophe that leaves his NBA career in limbo. During their family meeting, a random truck filled with unnamed assailants began blasting at the trio. Mecca shoots back in defense of his flock and subsequently conjures Lorenzo's name in a peculiar attempt to implicate the Tejada patriarch. More on this soon. WTF moment number 2. Visit from a global snitching goat. Mecca furiously confronts Kane yet again in an effort to retrieve his stolen bag. Then, he tracks the duffel back to Stansfield, which puts him in the same room with Tariq for the first time this season. And boy, was it an explosive display. Tariq had previously uncovered Mecca's true identity, Tejada family passports, and most incriminatingly, his current position as, quote, global snitching goat, an hilarious designation that would understandably inspire the spirit of wrath in its recipient. Once finally confronted by the goat himself, the two trade off in a tense exchange that results in Tariq threatening to expose Mecca unless he's paid $2 million. Mecca agrees to the quid pro quo only after putting measures in place to receive his prized duffel bag from Tariq, which contains his past sins and some future ones too. As a parting gift, Mecca shockingly reveals that it was indeed him that snitched on Lobos way back in Power's first book, which is why the drug kingpin was constantly on the run prior to incarceration and later execution by the Ghost Man. Mecca urges Tariq to thank his father once he meets him in hell, a statement my jaw still hasn't left the floor from. And WTF moment number 1. Farewell, my love. Brayden transports Lauren to safety per Tariq's instructions. He veers from the course though, seemingly about to execute her himself. But just when we lost faith in Tariq's right-hand man, he attempts to save Lauren's life by giving her money and strict guidelines to remain off the grid. However, the plot twists in a major way once Effie shows up to play cleanup woman. She takes Lauren away to what's surely her certain demise and knocks her out cold for good measure. Then, the plot really becomes clearer, insidiously so, as Effie takes the money, subtly acknowledging that Brayden's plan all along was to pay Effie to do what he couldn't. Things just got realer than they've ever been, and the consequences will be massive once Tariq realizes the treachery taking place right under his nose. Some lingering thoughts before we end today's video. I think Tariq hasn't seen an apparition of his father yet because he's not ready to truly face him. Psychologically speaking, allowing his mind to conjure his father's spirit would force him to face his cardinal sin against him, and ultimately himself by lineage. Additionally, the spirits who confronted Tariq mostly represented those of the innocent, save for Ray Ray and Kanan, of course. People who were killed either directly by him or indirectly by his actions. His father, however, was not an innocent. Thus, Reek's guilt barometer gauges that situation contrastingly. This also speaks to why he saw Lauren in the vision, the latest innocent person to have her life threatened as a result of Tariq's proximity and influence on her. Tariq began this episode laying next to Effie and ended it the same way, only this time may serve as the last time, once he discovers what she did to the woman he went all out to protect. Speaking of the Lauren fiasco, isn't it ironic that Tommy directly killed the love of Ghost's life and Brayden indirectly killed the love of Tariq's? Their brotherhood hasn't nearly been tested to the degrees of their narrative forebears, so their pending resolution may play out much crazier. Mecca declared to Monet towards the beginning of this episode that, quote, "I will make it that he wants to talk to you," in regards to Zeke and the latter's current estrangement. For this reason, and a few others, I believe that it was indeed him behind Zeke's true age getting out, as well as that random shooting in the park that was assumed to be Lorenzo's doing. I'll be getting more into this in a video to come soon. Diana breaking into Tariq's phone in the manner in which she did should put all players on notice in the year of our Lord 2022. Be safe out there, y'all, and don't get caught up just 2 weeks before Valentine's Day. You will regret it. One could argue that what Tate did on the stand was a bitch move, and it wouldn't be his first one if you've been following his character throughout Power's history. But it was also a passive-aggressive way to punish his brother for creating a situation where he had to testify in the first place. When Kamal conveyed that he exposed Tate's relationship with Tariq, and even worse, his father, he eradicated the rules of engagement. And that's how Tate likes to play anyway, a game by no rules save for his own. And lastly, Brayden's loyalty to Tariq is in question at this time more than ever before. The two have followed in the footsteps of their series forebears when it comes to divulging the full truth between them. Tariq easily being the most perpetual offender against his brother in the game. But now, Brayden has a few things going against his boy that could cause major damage to their relationship from the finale and beyond. This includes his brother's pending testimony and Lauren's fate. One of those secrets were definitely about to be exposed to Tariq, but the latter's actions against Brayden's family in stealing that Sweeney photo has left his partner at loyalty's crossroads. We'll see what he decides come episode 10. And that'll do it for this one. What were your thoughts on A Fair Fight? Be sure to leave me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.
Rudy beat that beat with a bad